I'm about to Hakai your perception, or in this case, super perception, about Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. What if I told you that I could sum up Dragon Ball Sparking Zero in the proverbial nutshell? I'm about to sum up the most boring Dragon Ball arena fighter of all time. Trust me, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is not sitting on any pedestal that these Sparking Zero brain cells have set it on. This game is the most boring Dragon Ball game of all time. Now let's go over to Dragon Ball Sparking Zero propaganda, because a lot of these Sparking Zero brain cells like to pedestalize this game's roster. Well, like I said, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero does fit in a tiny little nutshell. Those 182 characters, they're just a facade. It's all a fake. Really, this game has 3 characters, okay? 3, and let's count them. False Courage, After Image Strike, any form of healing, and let's just say, for instance, Senzu Bean. That's Dragon Ball Sparking Zero in a nutshell. If you really want to be honest, if we want to remove all this pageantry and fanfare, all these lies and illusions, the game boils down to, again, False Courage, After Image, healing move. Any healing move, there's, multiple. There's regeneration, there's immortal body, but we're talking about Senzu Bean in this one. So leave those delusions of picking any character that you like at the door. Yes, every fighting game has its meta. Every fighting game is going to have characters that are better than other characters. The problem with Sparking Zero is that if your character doesn't have those 3 aforementioned tools in their kit, they are literally useless. It does not matter. If they don't have Senzu Bean, if they don't have After Image Strike, if they don't have a False Courage move, they are definitely useless. Now, a lot of people are going to bring up the fact that you can play single player rank. Then there comes another problem with the fusion characters, because they have the most health of any characters, and sometimes they might have After Image Strike. Let's just look up Super Vegito. You know what? The most broken character in single player rank, where everyone is complaining about the oversaturation of Vegito, the oversaturation of the fusion characters. And that's the problem with Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, is that there was a clear favoritism and bias when it came to the designing of these characters. I mean, you have a game where 170 characters are basically useless, and there's only 10 or 15 that are relevant, either due to them being a fusion or them having access to False Courage, After Image Strike, or a healing move. You might as well not have the other characters. It's an outrage that they didn't put Fasha or Zanya or Coquette in this game. But when you really look at it, if Fasha, Coquette, or Zanya didn't have False Courage, a healing move, or After Image Strike, then they would have been useless like the whole entirety of this cast. It only comes down to 10 or 15 characters. Again, a meta does not mean these limited handful of characters are the only usable characters and the rest are garbage. It just means that those characters are stronger. They might have gimmicks, exploits, or advantages over the others, but it is not supposed to be a replacement for mastering the fundamentals and still having a viable fighting chance. Again, you could take 2 players who are of equal skill level, and if one character has False Courage, After Image Strike, or a healing move, that player wins. It does not matter how thoroughly you have mastered the game. Those moves are just that much of a difference maker. Now, they are going to hide behind the defense mechanism, saying that this game was intended to be broken. And I would say that that's terrible, because there's a right and wrong way to make a game that is intended to be broken. It's called making all characters viable and giving them an area in which they shine and they might be broken in. Let's look at a game like Pokemon, for example, right? And let's look at the Uber tier. Let's look at all the tiers, because you have OU, you have Ubers and all that. You have characters like Snorlax or Chansey that are walls, whether they're physical walls or special walls. And people would argue that those characters are broken because they have a crap ton of health and they have a whole bunch of defense that makes moves almost useless against them. Well, then you turn around and you have characters that have sky-high special attack and sky-high speed. Hello, Rayquaza, Salamis, and Garchomp. They excel in those areas. You know what the difference is between those two characters? Their statistics, but both of those characters in those different areas are broken. Both sets are broken in their own way. They didn't even try to make all the other characters usable and have something like, oh, well, this character, they can really move around the map. They can cancel in and out of combos. They have movement out the wawa. They can just maneuver around these characters, and they might have more health. They might have after image, or they might have false courage, but they might not have the ability to maneuver like the other characters. Or hey, you know, these other characters have, I don't know, the ability to really absorb damage. They might have low health. They might have, I don't know, the weakest amount of attack damage, but they can really absorb damage. I mean, there's a right and wrong way to do things. And this is where it makes me grateful for Xenoverse 2, because you do have hijinks in Xenoverse 2, but they're nowhere near as bad as Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, because again, the Super Soul system, you can decide, well, I want to be a wall in the game, so you can use the Super Soul that's conducive to that. You can decide, well, I want to have Thank You Dragon Balls, and again, in this game, you have 1,000 different ways to stop people's Super Souls. It's not to the point of Sparking Zero, where someone could just extend the game infinitely with Sensubi, or they could just play Keep Away with After Image and have an unfair advantage, or they could play False Courage again and again and again and again and again and again, and basically just have free defense. I mean, let's just be clear. It is boring to watch this game be played. You don't have a lot of variables in what you would see. I mean, every streamer is the same. If they say that they're the D rank of single player rank, 9 times out of 10 they're using Vegito or Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. If they're playing team battles, you already know the team composition consists of Yajirobe and some False Courage character. And basically the teams are looking the same. There's not a variety. Every game plays out the exact same. The exact same. Every streamer that you see, I'm getting the S rate today on Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Let's see what they're using. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, they're using Vegito spam. Oh, they're using Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Oh, they're team battling. Oh, they got Yajirobe. Oh, they got False Courage. Wow, that's totally original. And that's terrible to have that happen only a day after the game is released. Every person's team is looking the same. And again, the developers are not going to do anything because they're going to throw their hands up and say, oh, well, we told you this game is intentionally broken. So again, the game is tidied up into a tight little nutshell of False Courage, After Image Strike, and a healing move. And what would be terrible is even if they did nerf these moves, the die has been cast, the mold has been cast. A lot of these people, they've already gotten the Z rank, and they're already quitting the game. Imagine you paid $200 for this game just to play the trash meta, just to max your rank and say, I'm not touching the game again. But that's how, in a tight, needy nutshell, that this game really is. There is no other characters that you really see in this game. I don't care how visually pleasing this game is, when you can't use the other 170 characters to have a fun, not even like having fun, not to have a fighting chance. I mean, they've put it in a nutshell where you can look at the DLC characters, even if they were to put in Fasha. Let's look, what were those blast ones? Oh, no After Image, no False Courage, don't care. Oh, they put Super 17 in the game, let's look, no After Image Strike, no Healing Me, don't care. Oh, they basically put them, they've done us a favor. They've done us a favor. So those of you like me who have not bought this game, you can just look at the DLC characters when they get ready to announce them. Let's see. Do they have False Courage? No After Image, no Healing. Okay, we're good. We're good. Still not buying the game. Don't care. That's how trash this game has really become already. Guys, you might beat the game, but nobody beats the end game of all games. Hit that subscribe button. Perfectionists, throw those ones in the sky. We out.